Hello wonderful interpreters, and thank you again for tuning in. The scheduling system has been operational now for over a month, and we have been reporting to you all of the developments associated with it. In this video, I'm going to show you what has been transpiring lately according to medical providers and interpreters. I will also be covering the latest from PERC. So please, feel free to pause this video at any time in order to read the information that you see on the screen. Let's get started. As you all know by now, LNI officially deactivated language agencies as of last Saturday on May 15th. They also emailed the interpreters a reminder of these changes last week on May 12th. There's been a lot of confusion about the ability to bill for independent interpreters after May 15th. As you can see here, LNI says that you can only be paid for appointments assigned through their My Language Link, aka Interpreting Works platform. However, some of our sources in communication with LNI officials have been told that we can still bill for appointments after May 15th if those appointments were already scheduled, as you can see here. At this point, I feel that we cannot get a straight answer from LNI about this, and independent interpreters should ask LNI directly before accepting any appointments outside of their scheduling system. Feel free to pause this video again at any time in order to read the information that you see on the screen. So continuing with this announcement, here LNI says that interpreters are supposedly showing up for appointments without being scheduled. They emphasize this by saying that interpreters must not self-assign and accompany injured workers to appointments, and that the only exception are on-demand appointments or telehealth. Here's the problem with this statement. When interpreters show up for these appointments is because they have already been scheduled for those appointments. What's happening here is that several medical providers have been stripping many interpreters from their scheduled appointments to then load them up on the scheduling system and without any notice to these interpreters, according to our sources. We are being told that these medical providers have been pressured by LNI and My Language Link, aka Interpreting Works, to do so. And they started doing this before May 15th, not respecting their so-called grace period. I'll show you what happened to Liana Lara last week. Liana is our secretary here at Washington Interpreters. Liana is also an independent interpreter who's also been contracting with an agency called Northwest Languages. As you can see here, this agency's owner verified with the provider that it was okay for them to cover this appointment instead of the scheduling system. The appointment was a surgery taking place on May 12th. Here you can see that the language agency owner put Liana on the schedule for the surgery from 12 to 4 p.m. The medical provider's office then contacted Liana confirming the appointment with customary instructions for the patient. Liana then shared with me what transpired the day of the appointment, as you can see here. Another interpreter sent by the scheduling system showed up minutes later after Liana checked in. Liana said she had until May 14th to interpret. That's when the other interpreter went up to the front desk and refused to leave, but the patient wanted Liana to stay. But the manager wanted Liana to leave though after speaking with the scheduling system people, saying that the patient would be charged because LNI was not going to pay Liana. How outrageous, right? Isn't that for Liana to determine? That's crazy. All of this was stressing out the patient, so Liana offered to leave politely, but in the end, the clinic still wanted Liana to stay, so she was able to stay with the patient throughout the surgery. Everybody was shocked with how the other interpreter was behaving. Let me tell you something. This is a hostile takeover from WFC. Is this WFC's concept of ethical behavior? Stressing these patients out? Verbally abusing front desk personnel at clinics? And making a scene like this? So you saw that Liana was scheduled and confirmed by the provider, so I'm curious. If the provider didn't request another interpreter through the scheduling system, then how is it that another interpreter was assigned to this appointment? Food for thought. Another interpreter revealed to us that her privacy was compromised and that the My Language Link, aka Interpreting Works platform, effectively destroyed her reputation with her colleagues. Leticia Mares, an interpreter from Yakima, was singled out by a provider for refusing to fill out paperwork for a patient before an appointment. You see, Leticia offered to provide side translation instead. This happened on May 4th, while Leticia was going to cover an appointment that she accepted through the scheduling system. But the patient never showed up. So the medical provider then proceeded to use the scheduling system to request more interpreters after that day, and Leticia thought that everything was fine. The thing is that while making a request for an interpreter, this specific provider was asking the system not to send Leticia Mares, as you can see right here on this picture. But the biggest problem here is that the scheduling system started offering this job to all of the interpreters in the area with that information about Leticia, as you can see here. These interpreters started wondering what Leticia might have done wrong when she didn't do anything. She was actually respecting the DSHS Code of Ethics by refusing to fill out paperwork but offering side translation instead. The reality is that the scheduling system is responsible for this, so Leticia contacted Victoria DiMario, as you see here in this exchange. However, the issue remained unresolved for days and still visible to interpreters on May 17th, according to Leticia here. Why would they display this slander to interpreters? Does this look like professional and ethical behavior to you guys? Oh, you think this is bad? Ha! Well, there is more. So go grab some ice cream and get back here. Here you see an email that one of our sources shared with me. This is an email from Kathy Bradford, a medical provider serving injured workers in our community. She sent this email to other colleagues in her network. She's saying here that she tried to contact LNI's provider Quality and left a voicemail, but hasn't heard back from anyone. So what was the issue? Well, here she says that she and other clinics are compromised in continuing to see patients until the system is secured. She then adds that the scheduling system was breached on May 16th, exposing all clinic providers and patient information data, with over 9,000 patients compromised, their phone numbers, account numbers, etc. Here, she's sharing her obvious concerns, including what other data was vulnerable, how did this happen, and why hasn't LNI or My Language Link, aka Interpreting Works, alerted their users of this breach, letting them know that their data was compromised. Very important here, Kathy here says that she stopped using the scheduling system in her office until these issues are resolved. She's also requesting help from interpreters and another company on an emergency basis to assist her office. And here is the end of this email. Kudos to this brave medical provider for her leadership while being proactive in order to protect her patients' data. But to put the cherry on top, independent interpreters and providers alike have reported that the scheduling system crashed as they are not able to log in whatsoever, leaving many patients without an interpreter for their appointments. This have resulted in many patients canceling their appointments, of course, but hey, it looks like the scheduling system is trying to fight somebody that's supposedly trying to hack into their system, as you can see here. However, this one hacker is apparently very powerful and resourceful, as the only solution that the scheduling system came up with is to shut down the system. What a mess! Last but not least, we received a notification that says that the state, meaning LNI, does not intend to file more responses or answers to our unfair labor practice with PERC. This is good news because this can now move forward towards a hearing. We're actually still waiting on a decision from the Commission on our motion for temporary relief to scale back the implementation of the scheduling system. So please stay tuned for that because we feel this decision is coming very soon. In closing, I want to let you know that we are actually investigating everything that was reported to us regarding the security breach. We're talking to our sources and we will have more information for you guys as soon as we can. You know what the funny thing is? This other union, WOOFC/Local 1671, they're so funny. You know, they're talking about reconciliation. They brought all of this mess, all of these changes, all of their unethical relationships with people outside of the state, being in cahoots with them. They brought this unannounced, without your permission, without my permission, without consulting any of us, and they imposed this. So this is now converting into a hostile takeover. And they have the gall to say, hey, come and unite with us after all this mess. You see, WOOFC has no regard for patients, medical providers, or interpreters. Also, remember how Ellen and I held these focus groups with providers, medical providers, and interpreters to get their input to make a decision on whether or not implementing this scheduling system? I do remember the community told Ellen and I overwhelmingly, no, you can't do that. And if you're gonna have a scheduling system, have it as a dual system with independent interpreters and agencies there too. But they didn't listen to us, did they? No. No. Now, how is this affecting patients? Does LNI even care that these patients are dropping their cases right and left? Does that even matter to them? Or do they stand to benefit from this? Food for thought, you guys. Please look in the description box below to send us your signed card. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't in order to keep on getting more relevant information for our interpreting community. I know there's a lot of confusion and this has been a very hard week, but please do not lose hope. See you in the next video, and as always, God bless.